the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. From a Tennessee fan, find a new name. This is
No. I think you need to find a longer name. That's what you need. You need a longer name. Yeah, this game sucks. This series sucks. So we're gonna play it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Do that.
Yeah, I got you. I want to lead by asking you this: if you're a fan of either one of these teams, are you wanting this to go to home and home?
I think I would for my perspective because I would
sound like you dropped a dirty word.
I got stuck between like 7 words and it was almost great what came out. I think I would absolutely want this to be at home, but Florida more so than Georgia because you want a recruiting weekend at home. You want the home environment for another game. You're going to play less home games than most of your rivals because of this series. But I talked to 2 or 3 Georgia fans because I don't actually know any Florida fans. Back around summer, whenever the talk was that this series could be going home and home or could be like a home and home Jacksonville type deal. And they were like, absolutely not. Keep it in Jacksonville, keep the party going. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Maybe again, the issue was that it's Georgia who is on top of the football world for college. Maybe that was my problem. But yeah, man, look, if I'm Georgia and I'm on top of the world, I still want the recruiting visit weekend at home. For this game, think about what it could have been, man. When you're talking about Tebow coming to Athens and some of those series, how great they would have been. I mean, absolutely, give me that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Also, I want Georgia to play in the swamp. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, we've never seen that in my lifetime. So
yeah.
I'm not even sure if there was a point in time in the history of this rivalry if it was ever home and home.
I believe there was, but yeah, you're right. It's been a long time.
My eyes would be on that for sure. I'm not a big fan of neutral site games. Is what it is. Sue me. ESPN FBI has got this 85.2% leaning in favor of the dogs. You got an over under, which feels low.
Yeah.
47.5. And then you got a line, Georgia's favor, 14.5. Here's why I want to talk about this.
Yep.
Because it's one of those rivalries that you just never know. I mean, the last regular season loss for Georgia, Florida, 2022. On the line, you have a 24-game win streak for Georgia.
I believe that's correct.
You got a potential. I'm gonna say you got a potential for that to be broken. So just because I'm gonna say, like I said against Georgia Auburn, Florida's going to be playing with house money. They should be anyway. They should be. I mean, they've got a lot to play for. Don't get me wrong. They're not in the same spot that Auburn is. I mean, they're sitting there with a 5-2 record. Are they in East conversation? No. Are they in second place East conversation? Yes. All right. So there's something there to play for. Your remaining schedule for Florida after this one, you're going to host Arkansas. Well, Arkansas might not score. You're going to go to LSU. That's going to be interesting. What LSU do we get? Traveling to Mizzou. That could be interesting. And then ending the season with Florida State. So, do you need this one if you're Florida? No, but you've got some guaranteed wins and you've got some pretty much some guaranteed losses. Florida State, right? Like I don't like that matchup for Florida at all. So, yep. I'm gonna set it. You really, really need this one. So play with a bit of house money.
You absolutely better because you're also going to Missouri, and that's it's only getting colder outside of the South. We don't necessarily know what that's about till February or so. Yeah. But you're going to Missouri, a very, very revamped Missouri, who looks just worlds better than they have been. Not like you've absolutely dominated and beaten Missouri every time you should have since they've been in the league. Florida State obviously couldn't agree more. That's going to be very, very tough on the win. You're right. If they want to absolutely overachieve and have a say in the East, they have to win this game.
Yeah.
There's not a path in human society or life where I would predict that they have a path to win this game. They're not doing it. Okay. As wild as this series can be, it's Iron Bowl-esque in terms of how wild it can be. It's certainly not that rivalry with that level of hatred. and all that. Same state. Yeah, they're neighbors, but they're not miles apart in the same state or a couple hours apart in the same state.
Right.
But there's not a single path in my mind where Florida's capable of beating this Georgia with now an offense that looks almost as good as their defenses look for several years.
Fair enough. So if you're Florida, what's the formula? What do you got to do?
You got to dominate time of possession. I mean, you have to dominate time of possession. Like the way that they did, we talked about it in our Orange Cast. They held the ball for 15 minutes more than Tennessee did. You got to find a way to have the ball for, I would say, at least 10 more minutes than Georgia does. The bad thing is Georgia is so efficient right now. They're so prudent in what they're doing offensively. Now they're going to have to figure out a way to do it without Brock Bowers in this game, but they're so efficient, man. They can go right down the field on you in no time flat if they want to. Might not even face third down if they're really firing on all cylinders, which I kind of expect them to be. I mean, they've had 2 weeks. I think both teams have had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, a bye week before it was really handy for both of them. But you got to dominate time possession. You better find some maximize your yards from your backs. Don't put it all on Graham Mertz in this game like it was in the South Carolina win. That game alone, 41-39 over South Carolina, even though it was at South Carolina, gives me just tons of pause. I know that Graham Mertz threw it for 420 yards, but he ain't going to do that against Georgia.
No, he's certainly not going to do that against Georgia. I think what intrigues me the most is what is Georgia going to do if they get into a pickle and they don't have Brock?
That's an absolutely a great question. They've got tight ends for days, but there's only one Brock Bowers.
That is, man, very well said. Let me reframe it just a hair. They've got. Wait, how did you say that again?
They've got tight ends for
days.
I mean,
they've got really good. They've got really good tight ends for days, but there's only one Brock Bowers. Yeah, for sure,
Amen.
For sure. I can see a rise of was it Luke Delp? Is that next? That's Oscar Delp. Oscar Delp. I could see a scenario where he has a breakout game because I think he's got some serious potential. We spoke with Ryan Phillips a season ago, and he was raving about him, saying, "Watch out for this dude." I'm pretty sure he is a coming native, so he's right around this area.
Georgia native.
Yeah, so he's right around this area. I also want to see in a big game like this fans' reaction to Carson Beck. Like, I still do not understand, and I know that it's changed some, but you still got a large part of this fan base that is just out to cut this dude's head off, and I don't get it. I mean, 173 completions on 235 attempts. I'm not sure what that percentage is quite yet.
73.6.
Okay, wow. 2,100 yards, 12 scores, 4 picks. And he's doing it without the defense that Stetson had, doing it without the backfield that Stetson had. My goodness. I mean, I'd take him. I'd take this guy. I don't care how big his forehead is. I'll take him. Peyton had a big forehead.
Exactly. He's not a looker by any means, but my gosh, is he slinging it around? 73%. I don't have it offhand, but do you know how high that has to be in the SEC and the nation?
It's got to be up there.
It's absolutely got to be up there. I'm not taking the time.
I'm going to say that's top of the conference.
I mean, I'd be shocked. And maybe Jaden Daniels is higher. Maybe. I mean, honestly, they spread it around maybe even a little bit more than Georgia does, so I could see it being lower because that's what happens when you pass the ball around. You have incompletion.
Yeah.
But I mean, 21-47 on the year yardage, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks. Some of the picks are a little questionable, but the decision on the pass, that is, every quarterback's going to throw a pick. But what could you possibly be nitpicking this guy for? Guess what the backups do sometimes when they come in? They throw a pick. It's happened this year.
Yeah.
I don't even understand what it could be. Maybe you want him to have some of the mobility that Bennett had. Dude, I don't care. There is nothing that he's missing in his game right now.
No, I would take this kid in a heartbeat. So if he wants to transfer for next year, I'm down.
Yes, sir.
I'm down.
Hey, they've got Dylan Raiola coming in. He better find somewhere to play ball.
Oh, snap. Let's go ahead and make a preview and prediction on this one. So go ahead. We got, again, Georgia 14.5. Oh my gosh, I have lost the over-under. Stupid.
47.5.
47.5. Go ahead and give me your predictions, bro.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my prediction is that Georgia's going to do what they want to do. I don't like Florida. The bad thing is that Florida's strength is pretty much like we've talked about, in a phone booth, motion, and dumping it off either near the sticks or near the line of scrimmage. Georgia swarms to the football better than most teams that I've seen in a long time. They still do that, even if they don't absolutely maul your offensive line in ways that they've done for years. They still have unbelievable team speed at the linebacker and in the secondary positions. I think Georgia does what they want to do. I'm going to go with something like Georgia 41, Florida 13.
Bro.
Don't you even start with me.
I wish I'd have told you before going into this. I said I wrote down 42-14.
Okay. All right. It's a little different. I can live.
42-14. I'm with you though. I just don't know that Florida has the horses to go. I mean, the formula, again, I think you nailed it, is the time of possession. It's basically doing to them what they did against us, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I think Georgia is going to do a great job of not only creating pressure, I think they're going to do a really good job of keeping things in front of them when they want to. I would not be surprised at a game plan that says, we dare you to put a drive together. Let's see if you can do it without making a mistake. Let's see if you can do it without shooting yourself in the foot. If you can, then we're going to come after you. And we might even just do that for the heck of it. It's one of those situations where I think Kirby's looking at this going, I don't care what you do. I know who we are. My guys are better than your dudes. Do whatever you want to do. I want to end this segment by saying this, though. If you will, pull up Florida's schedule, and I just kind of want to look at the rest of it and see realistically what they're staring at on the end of the year, because it's almost laid out pretty well, I think. So you lose this game, right? 5-3.
Oh, absolutely.
You lose this game 5-3. Okay, you're probably beating Arkansas. I mean, you should. I mean,
hey, crank that hot seat back up for now if they don't beat Arkansas at home at noon.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, are Florida fans upset with Napier if he gets tallywhacked by Georgia 42-14, 41-13?
I mean, you should understand it, but you never won it, obviously.
Sure. All right. So we're gonna get Florida win at home against Arkansas?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so 5-3, 6-3 at LSU. L's. So 6-4 at Missouri.
I don't like the timing of that game, man.
I don't either.
I hate the timing of that game. I'm going to bring the L in from the other side just in case I'm confusing directionally which side it should be facing. That's 6-3,
6-5,
4 at that time. 6-5.
That's 6-5, and you end with Florida State 6-6.
6-6.
That's what they're staring at.
Yeah,
that's what they're staring at.
Now. That's why I made the face when you said it sets up pretty well. I thought I couldn't tell where you were going with that.
Yeah. Now, if you somehow pull a bunny out of the hat and you win this game come Saturday, who says you can't beat LSU and Missouri at home, or Missouri at their place? Who says you can't beat Florida State? I mean, that win will do wonders for them. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they'll win out even if they win on Saturday. I'm not saying that. But I just love that Florida's staring at 6-6. Tennessee fans and Georgia fans unite, right, over the 6-6 finish that is the Florida Gators. Nonetheless, we are going. It's not a love triangle;
it's a love-hate triangle.
It's a love-hate triangle, absolutely. Nonetheless, we're going to go both. Both of us are going to take Georgia to cover, to win big, 41-13 or 42-14 dogs.